Hello, citizens of the Creator's kingdom and citizens of Earth. I hope that everybody is doing fantastic wherever it is that you may be. It is a Wednesday hot afternoon here wherever I'm at. Scorching heat, but who's complaining? Just counting our blessings. So anyway, Brian here coming at you from the 7 Aspects of Life channel. We here talk about the 7 aspects of life that we need to constantly take care of on a daily basis. Because this is the vehicle that will get us to our destination finally. A destination that we're not going to regret when we get to, because it is a worthwhile destination. Because the reason why we'll be getting to a favorable and excuse my throat, admirable destination is because we work on our purposes. Hopefully you found what your purpose is. We work on our purposes on a daily basis and working on having our dreams come true, having our dreams manifest. We do that on a daily basis, and whatever it is that you do on a daily basis grows. So because it is a journey that you take every day, eventually you get to a certain place. And I believe because you're doing it, to leave the world a better place, and come up with making sure that your dreams come true, then the chances are you're going to get to a destination that will really please you, once you get there, because hopefully your purpose is a good one. All positivity here, all good things, all about win-win, which is the one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. So anyway, here on this video I want to talk about, we've already talked about the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth aspects of life in relation to the 7 habits of life. Because the 7 habits are, as we work on making sure that the 7 aspects are in good working condition and are upgraded as often as is required, then we need to have our attitude, our habits that we have, that help us to do the job that we need to do with our purpose and with maintaining the 7 aspects of life. And those habits, the first one is being proactive, and then starting with the end in mind. First things first, think win-win, work on having others understand you before you understand them, synergizing, and last but not least, sharpening your saw. So we are I'm just trying to come up with the things that I do, and on top of that, other ideas that will kind of stir up your imagination on how you can use the 7 habits of highly effective people on each and every aspect of life, so that you can be as effective with the people involved, effective with the people involved, and efficient with the things and tools that you're using along the way. So we are going to see how the 7 habits of highly effective people can be related to the aspect of life, which is the renewal, which is your 6th aspect. So if we look at the first habit, which is being proactive, in relation to the 6th aspect of life, which is renewal, proactivity meaning that you are in control, that you're not being controlled by other programmings that might not be yours or might not be correct. So, you try to kind of like look at yourself, because I believe I'm not sure if animals can do this, but I believe I've heard that they cannot. But we're the only ones who can. You can separate yourself from yourself and look and watch yourself think about stuff. Like you can literally, like, right, for example, right now I can imagine myself sitting in this car talking on the phone while I talk on the phone. So like right now I can imagine myself standing outside this vehicle looking at myself making the video. You see, so that's what productivity is. You can watch and see, look at all the programmings in your life based on renewal, based on how you renew yourself. Maybe there's some programs about maybe sleeping late or drinking caffeinated products, too late into the evening. Some people it doesn't affect them, some it does. Maybe the way you sleep, might not be the best way to rest. Maybe the positions you sleep in, maybe you need to be, you resist. Like I know I resist taking naps during the day because I just feel like I'll be burning, a part of the day. But sometimes it's important to take a nap, because, you need to be like, full tank. When you rest, it's like filling up a gas tank. So that way you're operating, you're running a vehicle on a full tank. You go further. It could be that the outside circumstances or situations that are controlling you and stopping you from having good renewal schedule or technique or timetable. So what you do is you remember that you're in control. You are a proactive person. Proactive means you're not getting influenced and stimulated by outside sources that are not serving you well. So you decide that you are in control. So sometimes you don't want to go to bed early because you're a night owl, but maybe your purpose or whatever you need to do the next morning requires to go to bed early. So you can actually proactively go to bed early that day, regardless of the stubbornness that you might have. So it's like separating yourself from yourself and being able to discard any programming that's not serving you properly. So that's being proactive. You are in control. And then of course the next habit is starting with the end in mind. So now that you're in control, then you can write a mission statement based on how you can repair, how you can maintain, and how to upgrade or update your aspect, the sixth aspect, which is renewal. So you can write a mission statement. Of course, the mission statement is going to be under the main mission statement that you have based on your purpose. You have that main mission statement about your purpose, what it is that you want to do on earth to leave it better than it was before you came. And your mission statement on your sixth aspect of life, which is the renewal, should work with that. So so that way when anything happens, because you're in control, you write down the blueprint. You go towards the end of your life to see what would I want the end of my life to look like. When I look back and see, what is it that you want to look back and see that you will not make you regret, that you wish you did? What do you want it to look like? If your sixth aspect was a house that you were building, what do you want that house to look like? If it was an empire that you were building, what would you want that empire to look like towards the end of a certain period, towards the end of your life? And whatever that visualization is, whatever that image is, then you write a mission statement based on that. That's the second aspect of life. That's the second habit, of highly effective people, which is starting with the end in mind. Then you reduce that into a mission statement. And once you do that, then that way you don't get you're not all over the place with different opinions. No matter what happens on the outside, no matter what kind of stimulation you get on the outside, no matter what kind of influences that are happening on the outside, your mission statement will always guide you back. It's like your mantra, it's your philosophy. It is your, every country has a constitution, and that most of the countries do not go out of the constitution. Whatever happens inside the country or outside the country the constitution will determine how the country is going to respond. So that is, what you need to do. And once you've written the mission statement and you understand what you want the structure of your sixth aspect, which is your renewal aspect, to look like, then you come back, which is now the third habit of highly effective people, which is first things first. So you come back and you start building that structure. You start building, you start behaving towards the destination that you want, that you desire, whatever it is that you want it to look like. Then you start building that structure from today on. So if it's forcing yourself to go to bed early, if it's taking naps, if it's taking a full 100% break once a week, like you take one day off completely, not doing anything. Some people turn off the phone, turn off the TV. They just do absolutely nothing but hang out with their kids, and just maybe go somewhere that's fun. Just if it's taking a vacation once a month, it doesn't have to go very far. You can maybe decide that you'll take a 3-day weekend or something if you can afford to, or maybe after every 6 months taking a major vacation. So that can be part of rest too. If it's getting a massage once a week, if it's going to the beach to rejuvenate your spirit, your soul, your body, so whatever it is that you can do, because rest doesn't just mean like sleep only. It can be rest. You can rest after a week, you can rest after a month. There's people who actually save up money after every 6 months. They save up enough money to not work for a week, but the money they save up is so that it can compensate for them not earning money in that week that they're planning to take a break on. So you could do that too. You can plan every 6 months, take a whole week off, affordably, where you're not hurting your income. You already planned for it, so you have enough money that will take care of you during that 1 week. So there's many ways that you can come up with that you can purposely renew yourself. So what we're doing is we're not just leaving it to default or to autopilot or to guesswork or to mystery or to just whim, like just deciding on the spot what you're going to do. It's doing it on purpose. So we're trying to make sure that every aspect, every corner of our life is being touched by purpose, including how you rest. You're doing it purposely, planned, scheduled, and of course there's room for spontaneity, but spontaneity works best when you have structure, because you can't just, spontaneity is like eating dessert for lunch, dinner, and breakfast, but dessert works best after you've eaten the essential meal that you need to eat with all the healthy ingredients. So spontaneity works best after you have structured whatever it is you need to structure. So that is the second habit, which is the third habit, starting with first things first. So fourth habit in relation to the sixth aspect of life, which is renewal aspect, is you think win-win. So win-win is obviously when you take a break, you rest, you come back rejuvenated, you come back with more energy, more brain capacity, and that will definitely be a win-win to the people you're working with, because you're not giving them leftovers. You're not working with them with half a charged battery or 15% of a battery almost dying. because that might mean that they have to pick up the slack because of the low energy that you're providing. And even with your projects might end up getting delayed. Like, we remember what this challenge is about. It's about reducing slowdowns, reducing resistance, reducing slowdowns, trying to minimize any obstacles, because low energy could be an obstacle. It could make you completely stop. It could cause you to get burnt out, and when you're burnt out, then you don't even want to do anything anymore. It could distract you because you're so tired, you're not focused. So you see, that's why the sixth aspect is so important. So you think win-win, because when you do that, then if you're working at your best, if you're working with a fully charged battery, metaphorically speaking, I almost couldn't say that word, metaphorically speaking, then other people benefit too. So when you're resting, you think of not just you, but think of the people who are going to benefit from you operating as a rested soul. And it's a win-win situation anyway. I'm sure you can come up with many other ways that you can apply the fourth habit of highly effective people onto the sixth aspect of life, which is your renewal. So on to the fifth habit, which is understand others before you have them understand you. Now, how do you apply the habit of understanding others before you have them understand you into the sixth aspect of life, which is renewing yourself? So that would be, like, for example, people could be complaining. Say if you're at a job, or maybe it's your wife or your children, or they could be like complaining that you're always tired, or maybe you realize that when you go to the park, you don't run around with your kids the way you're supposed to, or you don't walk out what you're supposed to, or when you come home, you're extremely tired. So that could be something that you might need to work on. Right, so they might complain and say that that you are not as energetic as you need to be, and maybe you can have yourself, allow yourself to understand where they're coming from or what their complaint is, so that way maybe you can see what you can do about it. Maybe see how you can fix it. That's you trying to understand them before you have them understand you. So maybe you can explain to them what it is that you're going through, and they might have a solution or not, or it could also be reading a book on how best. I've done that too. Like, I go online and I'll try to see what is the best way to renew yourself, and most of the time some things that pop up on like YouTube or Google will be like examples is like going to the beach or going to the mountains or sleep, best ways to sleep, exercise so that you can sleep well, so examples of turning off lights when you go to sleep, or not looking at your phone in the next, I believe, I don't know if it's 2 hours or an hour before you go to bed, so that your circadian rhythm cannot be affected by all the electronic lights that you have around you. Having a dark room, all these things, you can read them up and understand where the author is coming from, so that you can understand yourself in terms of where you are, in relation to the information that you're reading. So what we're doing is we're reading up, we're gaining knowledge, we're gaining understanding of every aspect on how to do it better. We're trying to do every aspect. We're really trying to get every aspect, into the next level. Like, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, if your renewal aspect is at a 3, you want to get it to a 4. And how do you get it to a 4? You gather knowledge, and you understand the knowledge and apply it, and you become wiser on how you rest. Now, it's no longer a default thing. It's no longer something that that you really don't think about. It's now a you've taken control of that aspect of your life, and you're actually guiding it and learning more and becoming smarter and wiser at renewing yourself by educating yourself, using people who have a whole lot more knowledge than you do in this area. That's what I would consider an application of the fifth habit of highly effective people, which is understanding others before you have them understand you. And I'm sure you can come up with many other ways that you can apply that into the sixth aspect of life. Now, the seventh habit, which is synergizing. Synergizing is when you celebrate, your differences. When you have somebody who's good at one skill, or is good at one natural talent, or is good at one spiritual talent, and you're good at another, and you put those two together and come up with a synergistic product or a result that that you would not have been able to come up with if it was just you doing it, or if it was just them doing it by themselves. When you put it together, you come up with a totally different synergistic product. So in application to that could be, maybe you have somebody who may be at work. I'm just giving examples here. You could have somebody at work who maybe works better at night, and maybe you work better during the day. You could switch places. You could switch places whereby you have them work in the position that they work at best, and you do. Maybe you're at the moment you're doing it the other way around. It could be where you said, okay, is it any way possible that we can switch positions, switch shifts, so that way you're working at your best at the time that you work at your best. You could also be like maybe you have a friend of yours who's really good at knowing. He's good at knowing where the places that you can go that can renew you are. For example, there's people very good at trailing, going walking through trails, and they've walked through 1,000 trails, and they know where each and every trail is and where each and every trail leads to. And maybe you're not that good at it. You could probably partner with him or her, and they can probably teach you a thing or two about trailing. So that could be a synergistic situation. Maybe you're good at knowing where all the beaches are, or it doesn't have to be beach or trail. It could be just about anything. And maybe you can synergize with each other. So you're gaining from them by what they're good at, and they're gaining from you at what you're good at. Maybe they're good at knowing, where to buy products that, natural products that help you fall asleep, and maybe you're good at knowing how to buy sleeping equipment. You can just throw just about anything here on this habits. When it comes to synergizing, it could be like maybe if you sleeping with maybe you're married and you're with your wife, and maybe you work a way where maybe one of you snores, you can work a way where maybe you fix your snoring, or she finds a way to protect her ears from your snoring, so that way both of you get a good night's sleep. So synergizing is just working with your differences, to where instead of fighting over them, you actually work a way where you can come up with something by putting those two differences together, and come up with a synergistic product that you would not be able to have come up. The best example of a synergistic product is a child. When a child is born, because a married couple will work on their differences. The reason why a child is able to, people are able to have children, is because they celebrated their differences. The male and female celebrated their differences, and they ended up having a child. So a synergistic product, you would say, is like a child being born. it's like a product that comes out of people who are different, but at the same time use their differences to come up with a product that they would not have been able to come up with if they were just working on themselves by themselves. Okay, so that's the aspect number 6. You can come up with many other applications on habit number 6, on application of the aspect of the 6th aspect. So the 7th one is sharpening your saw. Obviously this again is you can read about it, you can educate yourself about how to sharpen, how to best understand how you sleep. Again, it's very personalized, very individualized information. Maybe the way your sleeping positions on when you sleep, or what gets you to get a good night's sleep is not what would get me to get a good night's sleep. So it really just depends. Sharpening your saw, it could be like getting prepared to go to bed, getting prepared to finding the best massages in town. Maybe different kinds of massages that you might need. Nowadays there's different kinds of machines that you can actually purchase that will massage you. Different kinds of oils that you can use. You can sit in a bathtub. So you're preparing yourself. When you're about to do the bathtub, maybe there are things you need to prepare so that you can really enjoy that experience. Maybe there are things you need to research on before you embark into like a trail. So what you're doing is once you do these activities, you're going in there with a lot of knowledge and information. You're not just jumping into it with minimum knowledge, and that's what you call sharpening the saw. That's what you call working with a sharp axe. Because if you go out there metaphorically, if you go out there with little knowledge, then most likely you end up spending more energy than you necessarily need to. You're going to end up using more effort than you really would have that is necessary, and it'll take more time than it should have taken, more than necessary. So because when you're cutting down a tree using an axe that's not sharp, obviously there'll be more time spent to cut that tree down. There'll be more energy required, and there'll be more effort needed to cut that tree. But if you take time to sharpen that axe, then that tree will come down a little bit faster with less energy and less effort than you would have used otherwise. So this is all about just educating yourself on these things. Like for example, you wouldn't think that renewing yourself, taking resting, trying to prevent burnout would be something that would be important, but it is. Because if you ignore it, then it'll cause, like, you remember the 7 aspects are like it's a domino effect. If you're not taking care of that aspect, then it'll affect your daily pursuit of trying to fulfill your dreams and working on fulfilling your purposes. It'll affect all the others, because if you're tired and you're burnt out, you don't want to do anything pertaining to that. And fulfilling your purpose takes a lot of it's a purposeful, I know that's saying, I've said purpose twice. Fulfilling your purpose is a purposeful activity. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, as you fulfill your purpose, everything else that you do to fulfill that purpose has to be done on purpose. Oh man, it has to be done on purpose. So including renewing yourself. We can't leave that out there and just think that it'll take care of itself. That's really what we're saying. We're not going to just allow it to take care of itself. We take charge of it. We become proactive when it comes to even renewing ourselves. All right, so with that, I'm going to end this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.